Thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies as we continue with part 6 of the authentic and complete history of the ancient and mystical order Rosicrucians, taken from the American Rosae Crucis, Volume 1, Number 4, April 1916. The authentic and complete history of the ancient and mystical order Rosicrucians, compiled by H. Spencer Lewis, F.R.C., Grand Master General and Imperator of the Order in the United States. In presenting this installment of the history, I realize that I am casting light upon as perplexing a problem as that of the history of the order in Germany. In fact, the points to be satisfactorily cleared up are greater in number than were those connected with the Rosicrucian movement in Germany. In the latter country, there was only one organization, one body to deal with. In America, the investigator is confounded by an array of organizations, all purporting to be truly Rosicrucian. Since writing the previous installments of this history, the writer has heard the same question asked innumerable times. Granting that the history of the order as published is true, and establishing the order in Europe beyond question, which is the true order in the United States? Without any attempt to mitigate the good work that is being done by many honorable, sincere bodies, and without meaning to misrepresent any facts, the writer will simply offer such explanations as have come to him through his superior officers abroad, and through such sources of information as are open to all unbiased investigators. At the onset, then, let the writer frankly state that his knowledge of many of the Rosicrucian bodies in the USA has not been gained through intimate or personal contact with them. The writer is not a member of any of them, and therefore does not attempt to speak of their origin, legitimacy, history, or work, as do some historians who know no more of the facts than does the writer of this history. It is unfair to do so. And if any statement is made herein which is not based upon actual fact, those who know definitely will confer a real favor upon the writer by communicating the truth, for truth must always prevail. As has been stated in a previous installment, Bond came to America at one time and lost here the precious Rosicrucian stone, that it might sink into the soil and fertilize the land with the thought and spirit. Since his time, there has been a number of attempts to establish some form of R.C. order. So many of these failed and were of small local influence that time nor space will be taken to speak of them. But at the very time of this history's publication, there are a number of more or less active Rosicrucian bodies in the USA, and of those I will speak. Foremost among the sincere attempts of one individual to interpret and offer an individual understanding of what Rosicrucian philosophy might be is the work of Max Hindle, a truly devoted student of mystic lore. Mr. Hindle bases his philosophy upon the common but mistaken idea that Rosicrucianism is an interpretation of Christianity. With this as a premise, and who shall gainsay it is a beautiful and noble premise, Mr. Hindle has built an enticing and inspiring abstract philosophy. He has performed his work, answered his call, by writing and publishing several books, one of which I heartily recommended to all admirers of the Christian religion. He has also formed an organization known as the Rosicrucian Fellowship in California, and he has groups of students in many cities who devotedly buy and study his books. He is doing a good work and, to the best of my knowledge, has never attempted to call his movement an order or lodge. All this I say to those who would ask, what is Rosicrucian Fellowship? And Mr. Hindle makes no claim to having ever been initiated into the A.M.O.R.C. or of representing the Rosicrucian order. He frankly and honestly states he is a writer, publisher, and teacher with good books to sell. The next most popular movement is the Temple of the Rose Cross, under the sponsorship of our good friend Marie Russack, who edits the Channel magazine in California. Here, too, there is an honest and frank admission that the sole object of the movement is to enable sincere students to find their higher teaching, which seem to lead to the mysteries of true Rosicrucianism. Mrs. Rusak is so greatly interested in the true order and in having the truth of the order's origin and present status established, that she is reprinting this complete history in her magazine. She is ready to verify, she states, the truth of many of the statements made in this history, of the origin, authenticity, and present position of the A.M.O.R.C. in Europe and America. No one has ever been misled by Marie Rusak into thinking that her movement with its Rosicrucian centers in many cities is the real RC order or lodge. Marie Rusak is fair, honest, and true. Theosophy added Rosicrucian teachings and symbolism to its higher work only to assist its advanced students to study around the true RC science and philosophies. It does not claim to have any of the true RC work or to be a branch of the A.M.O.R.C. in any way. Then there are several organizations having such names as Societas Rosicruciana, which name cannot be incorporated or legally used because it is the name of a foreign body, the Masonic Rosicrucian chapters of England and elsewhere. These organizations do not claim to have any connection whatsoever with the ancient and mystical order Rosicrucians as founded in Egypt and established throughout the world. They are principally designed to give advanced Masons such wonderful teachings as they may secure from interpreting the principles of Rosicrucianism, and they do not have initiations, degrees, or work similar to the A.M.O.R.C. So after all, we find the Rosicrucian bodies of many cities in the USA are easily grouped into the above three classes. Certainly a great number of books have been written by various authors on subjects claiming to be Rosicrucian. But all of these, without exception, are personal philosophers, personal teachings, based on what the authors believe must be the true teaching of our noble order. But the thinking seeker for light will appreciate the fact that these books, which sell publicly for $2, $3, or $5, or $50, do not contain the true Rosicrucian teachings. Rosicrucianism is not learned through books. But are there no true Rosicrucian books in the USA? Such is the question often asked. Now, for the first time, let me state in public print a startling answer: yes. I can take the initiated adept of our order, as I have done, to the great New York Public Library on Fifth Avenue, and there in a small, quiet room, astound him with what has been sent from abroad in the way of real Rosicrucian literature. I can go to a few isolated shelves, by special privilege, and bring to light 10 to 20 very rare, hardbound volumes. They are bound crudely in sheepskin, parchment, or leather, bearing indifferent, misleading, or hidden titles. Their pages are very old and yellow, brittle and ready to crumble under the touch. Their dates of printing show them to be real, priceless antiques. They abound with diagrams, charts, illustrations, formula, explanations, and secret laws. They bear many handwritten notations. The back flyleaves bear signatures, marks, and seals of many of the A.M.O.R.C. Grand Masters and Masters of Europe living in these several centuries. Every proof is given that these books, the only existing copies in the world, were handled, thumbed, studied, and used by many of the great masters of our order in various lands. These books, I say, can be seen, read, and studied when the time comes for the brothers and sisters of our order to have them. Some of them have been the priceless possessions of Europe's great Grand Lodge for many centuries, and their coming to America is a great gift, greater than any that have ever been made. The writer was in France when the Supreme Council held a special session in Toulouse to pass upon the giving of several of these books to this library, and on good authority it is stated that the Supreme Council was in a deadlock session of 28 days trying to decide on the sending of one other similar volume to America. Yet there lie these volumes, dusty and musty, their actual presence known to the librarians, but their true contents, their value, and their great temptation unknown and unappreciated. What a fortune would be made by some of the firms and individuals who peddle lessons and degrees by mail if they could reprint these books. But such books, such information cannot be purchased at any price. Rosicrucianism is not sold at so much per quarto volume. And because this is so, because councils in Europe have felt warranted in having their busy members, many of them government officials, some of them living at great distances, come to special sessions of many days to consider the passing of one book from one place to another. Because of this, I say, it seems strange that there are in America today some 1,000 or more men and women who have been cleverly made to believe that for a few dollars that they can pass through 49 degrees of Rosicrucian teachings in one book sold for $10. This leads me to speak of the society known by many names, but principally as the Rosicrucian Fraternity, whose head teacher is Dr. Clymer. Dr. Clymer operates the Philosophical Publishing Company of Allentown, Pennsylvania, and sells reprints of some so-called Rosicrucian books written by one Dr. P.B. Randolph, who never had either right or privilege of writing for publication any Rosicrucian secrets. In fact, Dr. Randolph was looked upon with displeasure and disdain by the A.M.O.R.C. in France because of many acts, principally the selling of so-called secrets, which were no secrets at all. After Randolph's death, Clymer, as a printing expert, undertook to reprint and resell the old books of Randolph, and so successful was he in promoting Randolph's plans for some sort of Rosicrucian fraternity, whose Grand Lodge disbanded a number of times, that he wrote several books of his own concoction. Many have purchased his secret book, giving the first 49 degrees of the Illuminati of the Rosicrucian Order for $10, believing that it was secret, as the title page stated, but finding that it was a copyrighted book, as are nearly all the secret books sold by this publishing firm. One of these even claims to give the initiation work in the temple, etc. But the Rosicrucian Fraternity is not a legitimate order of any kind. It is only a school, conducted principally by mail, through the sale of books. Dr. Clymer himself frankly says so. In a recent letter to the writer he says, "I hold that the Rose Cross, or call it any other name meaning the same, is not a lodge or secret society as we usually understand it. I hold that the Rose Cross, or Rosicrucian Fraternity, his organization, is a school of spirituality, that its degrees are degrees of growth of development. The Rosicrucian Order or Fraternity in America by Randolph does not organize to confer degrees, never did, but is in truth a school of spirituality, in other words, a school teaching a higher and better system of learning." Such a frank statement from Dr. Clymer over his signature is a valuable asset to the history of this kind, for it adds information from an authority and removes all doubt. There were some who believed that perhaps Dr. Clymer's work was more than starting of a simple school, classes in certain localities where his books were sold. Some even thought that Dr. Clymer was an initiate of the real order Rosicrucis, but the above extracts from his letter dispels all misapprehension and leave Dr. Clymer with the clean record he deserves as a successful publisher of so-called secret Rosicrucian books, degrees, lectures, etc. Interestingly, no doubt, but have no connection with the true order, which is a lodge, is a secret society, and does organize to confer degrees upon its advanced adepts throughout the world under the only name of Rosicrucius. In closing this section of the history, let me again call the attention of the sincere seeker for light to the few sane and safe guides, which are true guideposts along the dark paths which lead to the eastern portal, where many may, cross the threshold. First, the true order, the original and perfect Rosicrucian order, is known by only one name, the ancient and mystical order Rosicrucius. Secondly, its worldwide established symbol is the triangle with the point downward and with the cross within the triangle. Thirdly, it sells no books or degrees by mail or otherwise, purporting to contain secrets or initiations. Fourthly, it has naught to do with any religion, Christian or otherwise, or with any yogi philosophy. Fifthly, it has regular lodges or temples in various cities, each with its masters and officers, its grand lodges, its Supreme Lodge in New York, and its work, as decreed by the Supreme Council of the world, is done in secret under a regular constitution. Any question in your mind as to the genuineness of the order will easily be set aside if you inquire at the proper place, and that place is not within the covers of a book. The next installment will contain the story of the establishment of the true order in the United States. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And please consider donating to Wars of the Rosies so we can get better equipment and provide better audio. Thank you very much.